All right, we are on number 3 of the study guide, Study Guide A. Here we go, number 3. Yeah, we already did it. Here we go. We got 2a plus b for a equals 8 and b equals 9. So all you have to do for these is you need to rewrite it, open up parentheses for the variables, and substitute the value. So here we go. I'm going to write 2, open parentheses for the a, plus b, open up parentheses for the b. What is the value that they give us for a? 8. So therefore I write 8 in here. And the other one is b, which is 9. There it is. So from there, very important, when you get to that part, make sure you write your order of operations and follow your order of operations whenever you're simplifying expressions. If you don't follow it, you're probably going to get it incorrect. Here we go. So, do I have parentheses or grouping symbols? Yes, but there's nothing to do inside. It's already simplified. Do I have exponents? No. Do I have multiplication and division? And I'm going from left to right. So therefore, what is 2 times 8? 16 plus 9. At the end, addition and subtraction from left to right, that becomes 25. Number 4. Here's another one. It says evaluate the following expression. These that say evaluate, you just need to substitute the variables, the values of the variables, and simplify. So here's the expression that they give us. X squared y minus 2z over 4. And they give us for x equals 12, y equals 6, and z equals 10. Okay, let me scoot up a little bit. All right, so let's focus on that one. Here it goes. So what do we say? We need to rewrite it, but open parentheses for the variables. Is that correct? So this becomes parentheses squared. I open up parentheses for the y also, minus 2, and open up parentheses for the z, and everything over 4. So what is x? 12. What is y? 6. And what is z? 10. And once again, what do you need to write for these? Order of operations, PEMDAS. Do I have parentheses? Yes, I have 3 of them, but can I simplify inside the parentheses anymore? No. Do I have an exponent? Yes, so it's this one. What is 12 squared? Yeah, so let me rewrite this so you can see it. This means 12 times 12. It doesn't mean 12 times 2. Some of you do that. That is incorrect. So this becomes 144, and I bring everything else down. Times 6 minus 2 times 10 over 4. Continue. Do we have multiplication and division? I'm going from left to right. I see multiplication here. So that means I need to multiply 144 times 6. I'll do that right here. 144 times 6. 24, I got 2. 24 plus 2, that's 26. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2, that's 8. So therefore, this becomes 864. And I'm still in multiplication, so now it's negative 2 times 10, that's negative 20 over 4. How are we doing? Okay. Next, do I have addition and subtraction? Yes, I'm going from left to right on the numerator. So what is 864 minus 20? 8 44, and all that over 4. And the last step to simplify, 844 divided by 4. That fits in here 2 times. That's 8. Subtract, that's 0. Bring down the 4. 1 times 4, that's 4. Subtract, that's 0. Bring down the other 4. 4 fits in there 1 time. That's 4, 0. And we're done. So therefore, this is 211. Once again, the most important thing to remember, you need to write your order of operations and work step by step. Number 5. Okay, here it is. Number 5. 2/5 z plus 8 equals 2 plus 5/6 z. So by looking at that one, first things first, we need to get rid of the denominators, don't we? Okay, so what is our least common denominator? What is 5 times 6? 30. So we need to multiply everything times 30. For the fractions, we only multiply times the numerator. What is 30 times 2? 60, and the denominator stays the same, so it's 60 over 5, and it has the variable z. Why 30? What is 6 times 5? That's how you get your least common denominator. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What is 30 times 8? Plus 240 equals. What is 30 times 2? 60. Plus, what is 30 times 5? 150 over 6 z. Are we there so far? Okay, so what is 60 divided by 5? Let's see. 12 z plus 240 equals 60 plus 150 divided by 6. Let's see, how many times does 6 fit into 15? 2. We have 3 left over. I bring up the 0. 6 into 30, how many times? And we're left with the z. If you don't see it, write it out. 150 divided by 6. That's twice. 12, subtract, 3, 0, 5, 30, and we're done. Are we there so far? So now, notice here, we can't simplify this left side of the equation, or we can't simplify the right side of the equation. Now we need to get all variables to one side. Where do you want to start? With a 12z or the 25z? So we subtract 12z to each side. Which is the smallest? The 12z. I'll address that right now. This cancels. We're left with 13z plus 60, and I bring down the 240. Now, we need to solve for z, don't we? So we need to get rid of this 60, so we subtract 60 from each side. We're left with 180 equals 13z. This one has a variable. Okay, next, At the end, we divide by 13 both sides. Let's find out what that division is. I'm going to write it here. 180 divided by 13 if it's in there one time. Subtract, that's 5. Bring down the 0. 13 fits in there 3 times. That's 39. Subtract, that's 11. I'll stop right there. So how many times did it fit? 13. And how many left over? 11, 13. If you continue with decimal, that's fine. Number 6. It says 2 increased by 4 times a number is 12. Here we go. So 2 increased. So I said earlier, if this says less than or more than, we write this after the variable, right? However, this one we can actually write it as is. Let's see, 2 increased. How can we write that? 2 plus. Let's see. How can we represent this one? 4 times a number. 4x is means what? Equal 12. So let's continue. Subtract 2, subtract 2. 4x equals 10. Divide by 4, divide by 4. X equals 2.5. Once again, if you don't see it, do your long division. 10 divided by 4 fits in there twice. That's 8. Subtract, that's 2. Get a decimal and a 0. It fits in there 5 times, and we're done. Yeah, some of them are wrong. Number 7. It says negative 1/4 k plus 4/5 equals negative 2/5 minus 4/5 k. So, in order not to work with fractions, we need to find our LCD, our least common denominator. What is our least common denominator? 20. That means we need to multiply everything times 20. How do we get 20? 4 times 5, that's 20. Everything times 20. And if we multiply everything, it only multiplies times the numerator. Is that correct? On the fractions times the numerator. So, 20 times 1, that's 20. It's a negative, and the denominator stays the same, 4. And the k goes with it. 20 times 4, 80 over 5 equals 20 times 2, that's a negative 40 over 5. 20 times 4, that's 80 over 5, and that's a k. Okay, so you guys notice that the denominators did not change? Yes, just remember, the denominators do not change, only everything else does change. Now we can simplify. What is negative 20 divided by 5? Divided by 4? Negative 5k plus 80 divided by 5. We'll do your long division. I'm going to do it over here. 80 divided by 5 fits in there once. That's 5. That's 3 left over. Bring down the 0. That's 6. 30. And we're done. So therefore it's 16. Negative 40 divided by 5. Negative 8. Minus, we already know what 80 divided by 5 is. It's 16. So it's negative 16k. Are we there so far? So I'm going to look at the left side of the equation. I can't simplify anymore because this is a variable, this is a constant. And here the same thing, so therefore I need to get all variables to one side. Where do you want to start? Okay, you can start at -5, but what is the smallest variable? -16k. Like I said, you could have started, I could start at 5, but I'm going to start at -16. This becomes plus 16k plus 16k. We're left with, what is 16 minus 5? 11k. I bring down the plus 16 and equals to -8. I need to get rid of the 16, so I need to do the inverse, which is subtract 16. We're left with 11k equals -8 minus 16, that's -24. Right? You mean from here instead of subtracting 6? Because we want to leave the numbers on one side. If you add 8, you're going to end up with no numbers over here and everything over here. No, because then you're going to have to bring the number again to the other side. What's left? Divide by 11 both sides. K equals negative. Right? Because these are not the same sign. How many times does 11 fit into 24? 2 times. And we're left over with 2 of them over 11. Okay? Number 8. %20 of 185. Once again, for these, the percentage problems, make sure you write your is over of equals percent over 100. So which one didn't change? The 100, right? So therefore, blank equals blank over 100. So here it goes. So it says find 20% of 185. So do they give us a percent? Yeah, it's 20. Where does that go? Okay. And then it says of 185. Where does the of go? On the bottom. So it goes right here. And since we don't have anything else, this one is x. So we multiply these two. This becomes 0. What is 2 times 5? 10. We got 1. 2 times 8, 16 plus 1, that's 17. I got 1. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1, 3 equals. What is x times 100? 100x. What do we do at the end? Divide by 100, divide by 100. X equals 37. Number 9 says, what percent of 169 is 131? Like this one. For this one, what is my proportion, guys? Is over of equals percent over 100. So I'm going to rewrite this, but with blank so I can fill it and do my computation. So let's see. It says, what percent of 169, where does that go? On the bottom, notice that of is on the bottom. Is 131. Where does the is go? On top, 131. And since we don't have a percentage, that's what we're going to solve for. X. We're going to solve for the percentage. So 169 times x, that's 169x equals 131 times 100, that's 131 with the 2 zeros, so that becomes 13,100. What's the last step? Divide by 169, divide by 169. This becomes a 1x. And check this out. Look what they ask at the end. Round your answer to the nearest 10. So that means we need to do the long division and go at least 2 decimal places, and then you can round to the first. Here we go. Let's do the long division. This becomes 13,100 divided by, and this is not a period, it's a comma, divided by 169. So let's see. Does 169 fit into 131? No. How about into 1310? Yes. So I'm going to say, let's try 7. Let's see. 7 times 9, that's 63. I got 6. 7 times 6, that's 42, plus 6, that's 48. I got 4. Bless you. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4, that's 11. Let's see. What do we have left? 127. Bring down the 0. Again, we can fit 7 times that. And what did we get for 7 times? 1183, is that correct? Subtract 17 plus 70, that's 87. Now we add a decimal. Add a decimal, decimal, and a 0. Bring the 0 down. I'm going to say it fits in there 5 times. 5 times 9, that's 45. We got 4. 5 times 6, that's 30. Plus 4, that's 34. We got 3. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 3, that's 8. Subtract. Let's see. 45 take away from 70. That leaves us with 25. I'm going to add another 0. 169 fits only 1 time into that. Is that correct? 169. So that leaves us with 81. And I'll stop right there because we need to round to the 10th place, which is this one. Is that correct? So, does the 5 stay a 5, or does it go up to a 6? It's 5 because this one is not more than 5. So therefore, what were we solving for? The percent, right? So what is the percent? 77.5%. Number 10. Absolute value of 3 times the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 15. Here it goes. What do you notice outside of the absolute value? The 3, which means if it's next to, that means it's multiplying. What is the inverse? We divide by 3. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other side. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times the absolute value, it's the absolute value. Equals 15 divided by 3, that's 5. So now, since we don't have anything outside the absolute value, now we just go ahead and write our 2 equations. One for our negative number, and one for our positive number. So my first one I'm going to write for my negative. So the 5 becomes a negative 5. And whatever's inside of the absolute value stays the same, x plus 3. So I wrote one equation for my negative, so I'm going to write one for my positive. The 5 stays a positive, and I rewrite whatever's inside of the absolute value, x plus 3. At that point, what do? Solve using what? Inverse operations. So here, I need to get rid of this positive 3 or plus 3, so I need to subtract 3 from each side. X equals -5 and -3, that's -8. That's one solution. Subtract 3, x equals 2. Because 5 minus 3 is 2. So at the end, we just write our solution set. My solution set is -8, comma, 2. (11) We have absolute value 3x minus 5, close the absolute value, plus 6 equals 2. Step 1, do we have anything outside the absolute value? The plus 6. So what is the opposite? Subtract 6 to each side. We cancel. We're left with absolute value 3x minus 5 equals. What is 2 minus 6? -4. So now, do we have anything else outside the absolute value? No, look at it. There's nothing on this side of the equation. Okay? So check this out. This is saying absolute value equal to a negative. At this point, we have no solution. It's a negative. Right? Why do we know there's no solution? Remember that I told you guys, if I ask you to step outside and count your steps to the office, you don't count in negative steps, do you? No, and didn't we say that the absolute value was said the distance of a number away from 0 on the number line? So check this out. What number, if I was to ask you like this, everybody look up to the screen. What number, don't worry about what it says inside, what number is -4 steps away from 0? No number, because we count the steps as positive steps. Okay, just to summarize, here we go. If you end up, guys, when you simplify, if you end up with an absolute value equal to a negative number, doesn't matter what number that is, and it doesn't matter what's inside the absolute value, but as long as you simplify, there's nothing outside the absolute value anymore, and you end up, let me make up something. Here it goes. 5x plus 10, and it's equal to a negative number. Give me a number. 23. Well, guess what? No solution. If you simplify and you're left with the absolute value, whatever that is, 5x, let's say plus 10, and it's equal to a 0, there's only one solution. Because you just need to rewrite this equal to 0 and you solve for x. In the last situation, when you end up with an absolute value, once you simplify, equal to a positive number, doesn't matter what number that is, let's say I say it's 23, we have two solutions. Because we do what? One for the positive, one for the negative. Remember that? Those are the three different views that you're going to have, and that's it. Number 12. Number 12. Here you go. -8 times -8 squared. So what does the -8 squared mean? -8 times -8. And we multiply that times what? -8. So therefore, what is -8 times -8? 64. Then at the end, we're going to multiply times -8. So let's see. 32, we got 3. 8 times 6, that's 48, plus 3, that's 51. And one of them is a negative, so the answer is going to be a negative 512. Okay, the question was, what if this was like this? We know that any number to the 0 exponent is 1. And this one becomes negative 8 times negative 8. So therefore this is 64 times 1. Therefore it's 64. $13. I'm going to rewrite this one because I want you guys to see it. Q to the 9, y to the 16 over parentheses q, y, close parentheses to the 8. So this one, what we need to do first is distribute this exponent inside the parentheses so we can get rid of the parentheses. But we can't do it unless we write a 1 on the ones that do not have an exponent. So therefore, this becomes, I'm going to rewrite over here, q to the 8, y to the 8. And I bring this over, q to the 9, y to the 16. Okay, let's simplify this. Does the q and the q have the same base? Yes. What happens to the exponents when we divide? Subtract. So this becomes q to the 9 minus 8, that's 1. Does this have the same as this? Same base? Yes. So that's y. What is 16 minus 8? 8. And we're done. $14. Here we go. Look at this one. No. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. Here we go. Here, it says simplify. Do you guys notice that there's an exponent outside the parentheses? Yes. Therefore, we need to distribute inside. But check this out. This is a common mistake that some of you make. Everybody look up to the screen. You forget to add the exponent on the number of 1. That's why that's the one that most common mistake that you guys make. So here we go. What is 4 times 1? 4. So that becomes 4 to the 4th. What is 4 times 7? 28. M to the 28. Over. What is 4 times 3? M to the 12. And what is 4 times 8? M to the 32. Let me continue. What does 4 to the 4th mean? It means 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Okay? This does not mean 4 times 4. Because 4 times 4 is 16. This is wrong. This does not mean that. This means this. Let me continue. M to the 28. M to the 12. N to the 32nd. So with that said, 4 times 4, that's 16 times 16. Let's see, what is 16 times 16? 6 times 6 is 36. We got 3, 6 plus 3, that's 9. 16 times 1, that's 16. 6, 5, and 2. So this is 256. Okay, let's see. M has the same base as this one. So what happens to the exponents? Subtract. What is 28 minus 12? So this is M to the 16. Now check this out. Where's the N located? In the denominator. Well, guess what? It stays in the denominator. n to the 32nd. And we're done. Right. Yep. 15, it says, simplify the expression 125 to the 2/3. I'm going to write it big so you can see it. 125 to the 2/3. So now, that's 15, right? Yeah. No, I said 15. Here we go, 15. I need to rewrite this exponent. So I'm going to rewrite it like this. 125 to the 1/3 times 2. Okay, let's continue. So now we know how to simplify this because we know that any number to the fractional exponent, if it has a numerator of 1, we just write the root using the denominator as an index. Cube root. And this one goes inside, 125. Everybody with me so far? And we need to raise that to the 2nd power. So what does that mean? Let's see. What number times itself 3 times gives me the product of 125? 5. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So I'm going to write that inside of the parentheses. 5. What is my exponent outside? It's a 2. So this says, everybody look up please, 5 times 5. It doesn't mean 5 times 2. Some of you make that mistake. So what is 5 times 5? 25. And we're done. 16. Here we go. Simplify. Do you notice that there's an exponent outside the parentheses? Yes. So I'm going to distribute that inside. That becomes a to the 24th. B to the 4/2. Times, I'm going to bring this down, 9th root of b to the 9th. Let me simplify it again. 8/24 we can't simplify anymore, so I just a to the 24th. 4 divided by 2 on the exponent here, what is that? 2, so that's b to the 2nd. Times. Now I'm going to simplify this one. How do we simplify this one if it has a variable? Notice the exponents. All I have to do is divide this by the index outside. So what is 9 divided by 9? 1. So this is b to the 1st. And we need one more step. Do we have same basis here? Yes. What happens to the exponent? Add. So this becomes b cubed, and I bring down the a to the 24th, and I'm done. 17. It says, write the polynomial 3x squared minus 8x minus 12x to the 5th minus 5x cubed plus 2x to the 4th minus 6 in standard form. And the second part, give the leading coefficient. So let's see. First of all, we need to identify the degree of each term, of each part of the polynomial. So let's see. What degree is this first term right here? 2. And how do we know that? We go by the degrees or the exponent on the variable, not the number, on the variable. If it has more than one variable, we add the exponents. What is the degree on this next term? 1. What this next one? 5. This next one? 3. 4. And this one is 0 because it doesn't have a variable. Now that we know the degrees, I'm going to circle the highest degree, which is the highest degree, this one. So I'm going to circle the term that corresponds to that, including that sign to the left of the number. So I write that one first, negative 12x to the 5th. What's the next one down after that? The 4. I'm going to circle the entire term, including that symbol in front of me. So that's plus 2x to the 4th. I'm done with this one. So next, the 3rd, this one. Include that symbol in front of it, so it's minus 5x cubed. I'm done with that one. Next, this one, the one with a 2. If it doesn't have a symbol in front of it, then it's a positive 3x squared. I'm done with that one. What's next? The 1. So I write negative 8x. And I'm done with this. And what is my last one? 0. So we're left with negative 6. I'm done with part A, which is standard form. Part B, it says, give the leading coefficient. Check this out. All you have to do for this part, just write leading coefficient, point to it, and just box the coefficient on the first term. And you're done. Okay, guys, check this out. This is a common mistake that I see. By looking at this term, everybody look up to this first one. We have negative 12x to the 5th. The 12 is the coefficient. The x is the base, or the variable. The 5 is the exponent. What are they asking for? The leading coefficient. So leading means the first one in order from greatest to least degree. Which is the first coefficient? Negative 12. Okay, let's move on. Number 18. Multiply. Yay, our favorite. Here we go. So I'm going to start. I'm going to circle the n, and I'm going to multiply that times these two terms. So what is n times n? N to the 2nd. What is n times negative 1? Negative 1n. Now I'm going to circle the negative 5. Negative 5 times n. Negative 5n. Negative 5 times negative 1. Positive 5. So the first step is to multiply. I'm done with multiplication. That's it. I'm done. At this point, in order to simplify, I need to do addition, or I need to add. How do we add? By identifying things that are the same term. Look at this one. They need to have the same variable, same exponent. Do we have any other n squares? No, I rewrite this. N to the 2nd. Next, I have negative 1n right here, and I have negative 5n right here. I can combine those two. Is that correct? So since they have the same variable, check this out. Since they have the same variable, I write the variable because I leave it alone. I don't even do anything to the exponent. I focus on the coefficient. Negative 5 and negative 1, that's negative 6. And I bring down the plus 5, and I'm done. No. So once again, so from there, only 2 steps, multiply and add. Are we there? Number 19. Once again, multiply. I'm going to start by circling the first term, and I need to multiply that times each of these 3 terms. So we go, what is 5x times x cubed? 5x to the 4th. 5x times negative 5x, that's negative 25, because 5 times 5 is 25. X times x, that's x to the 2nd. 5x times 2, 10x. So I'm done multiplying this term times all of these 3. So now I'm going to take the second term and do the same. Negative 3 times x cubed, that's negative 3x cubed. Negative 3 times negative 5x, that's positive 15x. Be careful with these signs. Some of you were making those mistakes before. Negative times a negative becomes a positive. Some of you left it as a negative. Negative 3 times positive 2, that's negative 6. I'm done with multiplication. So now I need to add, which means you're going to leave the exponents by themselves. You don't multiply anymore. So let's see. Do I have any other 5x to the fourth? No, so I just rewrite it, 5x to the fourth. Next, I see that this is going to combine with this. No, there's no other. How about x cubed? Do we have any others? No. So I'm going to write first the highest degree, which is a third. So I'm going to write negative 3x cubed. Try and put it in order, yes. What would be the next one after that? Negative 25x squared. Next, I'm going to do a triangle around the x, this one, and this one. What is 10x plus 15x? Plus 25x. And what is the last part standing by itself? I'll do the wiggles in that. Minus 6. Once again, only 2 steps, and then you leave it alone. Just box it. Some of you do something funky after that, try to combine, and you can't. We're done. Number 20. Multiply. Here we look up. This is one that some of you make the common mistake all the time. Here it goes. We need to rewrite this. This becomes 6w plus 6z. And we multiply that times itself. 6w plus 6z. Okay, let's go one term at a time. 6w times 6w. 6 times 6, that's 36. W times w, w squared. Some of you forget that to put that second power. 6w times 6z. So check this out. 6 times 6, that's positive 36. W times z, we just write them next to each other. WZ. Notice that this is a W, this is a Z. You can't do Z squared or W squared. This is WZ. Continue. Look at the second term. You do that in blue. 6 times 6, that's 36. Z times W. WZ. 6Z times 6Z. What is 6 times 6? 36. And what is Z times Z? Z squared. Okay, so we're done with multiplication. Is that correct? Yeah. Now we do what? Add. All we have to do is add, combine stuff. Here we go. Look at the first term. Do we have any W squares? No, so I just rewrite this, 36W squared. I'm going to box this, 36WZ. Do I have any other WZs? Yes. So therefore, since they're the same variables, I just write them, WZ. So like that, I know not to forget, and we don't do anything with those. And I focus on the coefficients. 36 plus 36, 72. And what is the last part? Plus 36Z squared. And we're done. If you go one more step, you're going to make a mistake. Some of you go one more step and start combining stuff. We already combined by doing this. Stop right after. Number 21. Look at this one. Multiply. We need to do what? Rewrite it, right? So this means P minus 8 squared means P minus 8 times P minus 8. I'm going to start with my first term. P times P. P squared. P times negative 8. Negative 8P. P times negative 8 is negative 8p. I'm done with that, the p times these two. Now it's negative 8 times those two. Negative 8 times p. Negative 8p. Negative 8 times negative 8, that's positive 64. Careful with your symbols, please. Negative times a negative equals a positive, 8 times 8. So we're done with multiplication. Now we need to add. So let's see. Do I have any other p squares? No. I just rewrite this. I have negative 8p here and another negative 8p. So do they have the same variable, same exponent? Yes, I just write my variable here so I won't forget. Negative 8 and negative 8, that's negative 16. And all I have to do is what? Bring down the plus 64, and I'm done. If you go one more step, once again, you will make a mistake. $22, sorry. 22. Look at this one. It's already ready to multiply, right? What is r times r? R to the second. What is r times negative 7? Negative 7r. Now the next term. 7 times r. Positive 7r. 7 times negative 7, that's negative 49. We're done with multiplication. Now we add. Here we go. Do we have any other r squares? No. R squared. Now we focus on the ones with r's. I write my r. What is 7 minus 7? I'm just going to put plus 0r. And I bring down the negative 49. So now, to rewrite this, just simplified, check this out. R squared. I don't need to write this one. Everybody look up. I don't need to write this middle term because it's 0. But I do write what? Minus 49, and I'm done. No r, because it's how many r's do you see? 0. That's why we don't write it. Okay, and the last one. There's the last one? 23, yeah. 23. Simplify. What operation do you see going on here? Multiplication. So I'm going to look at m, and m have the same base. We add the exponents. This is to the 5th, and I just rewrite the y to the, to the 6th, I'm sorry, y to the 6th. I'll stop right there since we got to go, but you can finish the 24, 25, and 26 at home. I'm going to post this video online so that you guys can go to it, so make sure you finish the rest of the study guide. Have a good one, guys. See you guys tomorrow.